Gauravata Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Canto 4, Chapter 4, Text 18. Atastavotpanam idam kalevaram.
Atastavotpanam idam kalevaram.
Nadhar prayishe shitikantha garhinaha.
Nadhar vishe stikantha garhina.
Jagdasya moha divishuddhim andaso.
Jagdasya moha divishuddhim andaso.
Jugupshitasyo dharanam prachakshate.
Jugupshitasyo charanam prachakshate.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, I shall no longer bear this unworthy body, which has been received from you, who have blasphemed Lord Shiva. If someone has taken food which is poisonous, the best treatment is to vomit. So we heard from Guru Maharaj yesterday, His Holiness Bhakti Vignash Nishima Swami Maharaj. We heard from him yesterday that Sati, she was saying, if we hear blasphemy of a devotee, so well, Sati was saying that if one hears the blasphemy of a devotee, then one should give up their body or take that person's body. But now, but the best thing that we can do if we are in that situation is we avoid that person. You know, we are not supposed to be violent, take someone's life or our own life. So here Sati chooses to give up her body. Sati, since Sati was the representation of the external potency of the Lord, it was in her power to vanquish many universes, including many dakshas. But in order to save her husband from the charge that he employed his wife, Sati, to kill Daksh, because he could not do so due to his inferior position, she decided to give up her body. So Sati, she is the material energy of Krishna. So she can, she's the material energy. She's the one who's keeping us here in this material world. In the sense, she's facilitating our stay here in the material world. So of course she can kill Daksh. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. But in order to save her husband from the charge that he employed his wife Sati to kill Daksh, because he could not do so due to his inferior position, she decided to give up her body. So Sati is saying, oh, if she would have killed Daksh, then people would have said, oh, Lord Shiva could not kill Daksh himself, and so he told Sati to kill him. You know, but that's not the case. That's not the case. Lord Shiva is the master of Sati. She obeys him. Because he is her husband and she is always subordinate to him. So what did she do? She decides to give up her body just so that people don't say, oh, Lord Shiva got scared of Daksh. He could not kill Daksh himself. So he asked his wife to do the work for him. Yeah. You know, otherwise people can make up many things. Same like how Arjuna wanted to give up the war. He wanted to stop fighting and go live in the forest by begging. Krishna said, people are not going to think that you are compassionate and that's why you're going to the forest. People will think you're a darpok, you're a coward. You got scared of the Kauravas. That's why you went. So to avoid such a situation, she's deciding to take up her own life. Navedavadan anuvartate matihi.
Navedavadan anuvartate mati.
Swa eva loke ramato mahamanihe.
Swa eva loke ramato mahamanihe.
Yatha gatir deva manushya ho prathak.
यथा
यथा
गतिर्देव
गतिर्देव
मनुष्ययो
मनुष्ययो
पृथक्
पृथक्
Sa eva dharmena param shipet sthitah.
स्व एव धर्मेण परं शिवे स्थितः.
It is better to execute one's own occupational duty than to criticize others. Elevated transcendentalists may sometimes forego the rules and regulations of the Vedas since they do not need to follow them, just as the demigods travel in space, whereas ordinary men travel on the surface of the earth. So Sati is saying, better one does his own duty. What we have a habit of doing is instead of doing our own duty, we find faults in others. Why? Because it's easier. It's not so easy to do our duty. So we find the easy way out. We may become lazy, not doing our duty, and we point fingers at others. So Sati is saying we should not do that. Do your duty, whatever is there. So elevated transcendentalists may sometimes forego the rules and regulations of the Vedas since they do not need to follow them. So the pure devotees, they do not need to follow the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. Rules and regulations of devotional service are always followed by the devotee. The pure devotee is never going to give up the rules and regulations, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication. He's never going to give up these things. And he will also follow the rules and regulations of devotional service, waking up early in the morning, performing arti, hearing Bhagavatam, chanting the holy name. So, but what he will not follow are the ritualistic ceremonies. Many times we perform some puja or some yajna, and we don't even know why we are doing it. So Prabhupada says that should be avoided. If we are doing a particular activity, a particular puja or a particular sacrifice, we should know what is the result I'm going to get out of it. We shouldn't be impersonalist. Oh, well, I'm just doing it because I'm doing it. So the pure devotees, they follow the rules and regulations of devotional service, but they do not follow the the ritualistic ceremonies. So, and demigods, they have the ability to travel in space. We, the human beings, we walk on the earth. It is said that Kali Yuga, because this age is so degraded, the demigods don't visit this earth. But in before ages, the demigods would come on the earth. We hear so many, even like in Dwapara Yuga, when Lord Krishna was there, how all the demigods came to offer prayers to Devki, to Krishna in the womb of Devki. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Indra, all of them came. So when they come, they don't put their feet on the earth. They are like kind of gliding in the air. Yeah. They have more perks, more perks. For example, there is a government servant. So he is going to be given more perks than an ordinary citizen. He might be given government quarters, he'll be given government car, bodyguards, all these things. Why? Because he's doing some service for the government. Similarly, the demigods are doing important service for the management and administration of the universe. So they are given more benefits than we, ordinary human beings. The behavior of the most elevated transcendentalist and that of the most fallen conditioned soul appears to be the same. The elevated transcendentalist can surpass all the regulations of the Vedas, just as the demigods traveling in space surpass all the jungles and rocks on the surface of the globe, although a common man, who has no such ability to travel in space, has to face all those impediments. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, outwardly, a person is not doing the rituals of the Vedas. So, who are those people? One is the pure devotee. He does not want to engage in rituals. He only engages in pure devotional service. And another is, he does not want to do anything. He does not want to follow the Vedas. That's why it's written most fallen. So both of them are not doing the ritualistic um, activities. But we have to understand, one is a pure devotee. He's following the rules and regulations of devotional service. Whereas the fallen conditioned soul, he is not engaging in devotional service. Although the most dear Lord Shiva appears not to observe all the rules and regulations of the Vedas, he is not affected by such disobedience. But a common man who wants to imitate Lord Shiva is mistaken. A common man must observe all the rules and regulations of the Vedas, which a person who is in the transcendental position does not need to observe. So because Lord Shiva is a pure devotee, he's not engaging in the rituals and the sacrifices. But if one is not in the devotional path, then he needs to. Why? Because the Vedas, why are they structured in such a way? Vyasadeva, why did he structure it? That by following the rules and regulations of the Vedas, gradually, there will be an elevation in consciousness. At least one understands there is a higher power, one understands there are higher positions, there's higher beings, one understands that there's transmigration of the soul. So at least, and then like this, there is a gradual elevation in the consciousness. So Daksh found fault with Lord Shiva for not observing all the strict rules and regulations of the Vedas, but Sati asserted that he had no need to observe such rules. It is said that for one who is powerful like the sun or the fire, there is no consideration of purity or impurity. The sunshine can sterilize an impure place, whereas if someone else were to pass such a place, he would be affected. So the sun shines on the garden of roses, and the sun also shines in the sewer, which is filled with all dirt and stool and pus and everything. But is the sun affected by it? No, the sun is not affected. Does it mean that because the sun is shining on the dirty things, the sun has become dirty? No, not at all. In fact, the sun purifies. The sun has the power to purify the dirt. So this is the position of the pure devotee. The pure devotee may be in the material world, but because his consciousness is so pure, purity is the force, Srila Prabhupada would say. So the devotee, by his association, he purifies the atmosphere. He helps others also to raise the consciousness. One should not try to imitate Lord Shiva, rather one should strictly follow one's prescribed occupational duties. One should never vilify a great personality like Lord Shiva. So some of us may try to imitate Lord Shiva. Oh, Lord Shiva takes intoxication. I'm also going to take intoxication. Yeah, but Lord Shiva is all the time chanting the glories of Lord Krishna. Are we doing that? Lord Shiva is always in samadhi, offering obeisances to Lord Krishna. Are we doing that? So we just want to imitate, which is wrong. We need to follow the instructions. And what is Lord Shiva's instructions? That worship of Lord Vishnu and worship of Lord Vishnu's devotees is the highest. Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, non-different. So, and he also says about the glories of chanting the holy name of Krishna. So we, instead of imitating Lord Shiva, should follow his instruction to regularly hear and chant Krishna's glories. Next, did anyone want to add or comment till what we have read?
No.
Karma pravartam cha nivritam apiritam.
Karma pravrittam cha nivrittam api shritam.
Vede vivichyo bhayalingam ashritam.
Vede vivicya ubhailingam ashritam.
Virodhitad yoga padai kartari.
Tadrodhitad yogpad ek kartari.
Vayam tatha brahmani karmanarchati.
Dvayam tatha brahmani karna richati.
In the Vedas, there are directions for two kinds of activities. Activities for those who are attached to material enjoyment and activities for those who are materially detached. In consideration of these two kinds of activities, there are two kinds of people who have different symptoms. If one wants to see two kinds of activities in one person, that is contradictory. But both kinds of activities may be neglected by a person who is transcendentally situated. Pravritim cha, nivritim cha. Pravritim is activity, pravriti are activities for material sense enjoyment. And nivriti are activities, they are the don'ts. If one wants to give up the attachment for the material world, then they follow the path of nivriti. Pravriti means I want to still engage more and more in material sense enjoyment. The Vedic activities are so designed that the conditioned soul who has come to enjoy the material world may do so under direction, so that at the end he becomes detached from such material enjoyment and is eligible to enter into the transcendental position. So Krishna knows our desire, he knows our heart, he knows we want to enjoy the material world, he knows we want to imitate, to be God, that we have the desire to control, to enjoy, well, it's not wrong to enjoy. Of course, we want to enjoy. It's not that Krishna wants us to suffer. That's the main point. Krishna never wants us to suffer. He wants us to enjoy, but it's just we have forgotten what is correct enjoyment. And Krishna wants to remind us again what is the correct way to enjoy. So that's the reason he speaks the Vedas. And what does he speak in the Vedas? That do certain activities so you can enjoy the material world, but regulate the activities. Regulate them. And what happens that you follow the do's and the don'ts. So when we say regulate the activities, don't get carried away. No meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication. So pravriti and nivriti. You want to eat? Yes, you eat. You eat Krishna prasad, but don't eat meat. Both are there. And then, so yes, you enjoy life in this world. And then what do you do at the end of life? Go back home, back to Godhead. Don't take another birth here again in the material world. The four different social orders, brahmacharya, grahast, vanaprast, and sannyas, gradually train a person to come to the platform of transcendental life. So Krishna has made the varnashrama system. Krishna, he says in chapter 4, text 10 or 11, Guna Karma Vibhagasa. He has made this varnashrama system based on guna and karma. So the ashrams, brahmachari, grihast, vanaprast, and sannyas. Why are these ashrams there? That we can enjoy life, at the same time we cultivate spiritual knowledge. Because only if we enjoy life, then that is animalistic life that we can do even in the bodies of animals. But the purpose of human life is prema pumartho maha, to revive our love of God. The activities and interests of a grahast or householder are different from those of a sannyasi, one in the renounced order of life. It is impossible for one person to adopt both orders. A sannyasi cannot act like a householder, nor can a householder act like a sannyasi. But above these two kinds of persons, one who engages in material activities and one who has renounced material activities, there is the person who is transcendental to both. So the sannyasi, he has renounced material activities. He's given up his wife, children, he's finished with his material duties. But the grihast cannot do it. He still has material duties to perform. He cannot just irrationally give up everything. No. No. So he has to continue performing his grihast duties, taking care of his children, his wife, whatever his position in society is. So both of them are doing their activities. Both of them are doing their duties. And what is Srila Prabhupada saying here? That there is the pure devotee who is transcendental to both. Lord Shiva is in the transcendental position because, as stated before, he is always absorbed in the thought of Lord Vasudev within himself. Therefore, neither the activities of the grihast nor those of the sannyasi in the renounced order can be applicable for him. He is in the Paramhams stage, the highest perfectional stage of life. So Lord Shiva, we cannot imitate him. We cannot imitate, oh yes, I'm also a pure devotee, so I'm going to imitate Lord Shiva. No, we follow whatever is our duties according to our position in society, man, woman, son, child, father, mother, whatever is that. We do the duties that's required. At the same time, we hear and chant about Krishna. Lord Shiva is not bound by the material duties because he is already on the transcendental platform. He is not an ordinary man. We heard Guru Maharaj say yesterday, he's neither man nor God. So then he is a Paramhamsa, he is a pure devotee of the Lord. The transcendental position of Lord Shiva is also explained in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 52-53. It is stated there that when one fully engages in the transcendental service of the Lord by performing activities without fruitive results, one is elevated to the transcendental position. At that time, he has no obligation to follow the Vedic injunctions or the different rules and regulations of the Vedas. So the pure devotee of the Lord, what is his motive? Only to serve Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. But a pure devotee still follows the rules and regulations. He still engages in hearing and chanting. He still refrains from all the illicit, sinful activities. Because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that whatever great people do, common men follow. So Achar and Prachar, the pure devotee, he is perfect example and he preaches. He does both. The pure devotee never imitates another Mahabhagavat. He will act according to his position in society and perform his duties. Srila Prabhupada, he was a householder. He used to do business. He had his factory. He had his children. He had his wife. He took care of them completely, properly. It's only later, at much older age, when he took the sannyas, after he finished his material duties, he took up the sannyas order. Then also he followed the duties of a sannyasi, and that is to go all around the world preaching about Krishna. So it's not that a pure devotee becomes loose in character. No, that is something that we have to be careful of. If someone is not following the rules and regulations, they in fact become imitators, and that's what we should avoid for ourselves to become. When one is above the directions of the Vedic ritualistic injunctions for attaining different allurements and is fully absorbed in transcendental thought, which means thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotional service, one is in the position called Buddhi Yoga or Samadhi ecstasy. So Lord Shiva's position is that he is always with Krishna in thought. And so because he's always thinking of Krishna, he's actually with Krishna. He's in ecstasy. He's in samadhi. For a person who has attained this stage, neither the Vedic activities for realizing material enjoyment nor those for renunciation are applicable. So Srila Prabhupada is saying about the Avadhut, Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda is an Avadhut. We don't know if he's a renunciate or if he's a householder. He's completely always in love of Krishna. Love for Krishna. That's what he's so much in love for Krishna. He does not identify himself as either a sannyasi or a householder. Although he had 2 wives, he has children, but that's the position of the Mahabhagavat. But the Mahabhagavat will always follow the regulations of the scriptures of devotional service. He's never going to give up those. He does not manipulate the scriptures for his sense gratification. And he's always hearing and chanting about Krishna, always 24 hours. Satatam kirtayanto ma. That's what the Mahatmas do. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes. So what are they trying to tell here, that they are comparing Shivji? Yeah. Like in this
They're
one.
trying to show the most excellent position of Lord Shiva. That Lord Shiva is on a Paramhamsa platform. He's not an ordinary man.
Okay.
He's not, yeah. He's not bound. He's a pure devotee. He's always in samadhi of the Lord.
Okay. So
That's
then
what
he's
they're
different from both of them, right? Like the one who is the
Yes.
sannyasi and the grahastha. He's not equivalent to them both. He is above both of them.
Yes. And also the point is to be understood that if one is a pure devotee, he always follows the
Vedic.
Because someone might misuse this verse and say, oh, so how can I misuse it? Yes, the pure devotee does not need to care of rules and regulations of the Vedas. So I can indulge in meat eating, intoxication, all that, and I will call myself a pure devotee. But that is not what the point is. In fact, the pure devotee always is very careful to follow the rules and regulations and all the time hearing and chanting Krishna. So we should not try to imitate Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva's transcendental position.
Oh, so this is just to clear for us the position of Lord Shiva, because the people might misjudge and they say that, oh, he's always sitting where he's remembering Krishna, but he is, right?
I'm sorry.
I mean, people could misjudge him. So it is, this point here is given to clarify his position.
His
right?
Position. That's
right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Clarify his position. And for us not to imitate him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for listening and enjoying today. Hari Bol.